Well, the Edgar County Watchdogs, I'm John Kraft.
Kirk Allen.
And we're here to talk about Shelbyville Township and what has been going on at their township meetings for the last couple months. Doesn't have anything to do with the election petition objections, except for maybe one of the statements said by the attorney, but other than that, it's all township business. So with that, go ahead.
No, it's this whole purpose of this basically is we were asked to upload that video from that, was it February meeting?
Yeah.
So in the February meeting, a lot of things went on, and after the fact, I spoke with the township attorney, and one of the comments that was made related to our videos, and we just put them up and create some drama and try to get donations and whatnot. And I actually told her at that meeting, or after that meeting, that the whole purpose of us videoing it, the number one reason is for our own protection. And I know on the surface that may not have meant a whole lot to her, but I think when we're done going through this, you'll understand exactly what we mean, because the request to put this video up, which we hadn't done yet, I went back and watched it, and you can't just put it up without some explanations, can we?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. So keep in perspective as we go through this list, this is a township that's given away $93,000 of taxpayer money to whatever groups that asked, as best we can tell. And now there's been some issues raised that we'll go into with this.
And they're proud of it, according to the letter they sent out to everybody.
Yeah, and it was interesting in that the reason we went to that meeting, she emailed me if I was going to be at this meeting. And I responded with, when is it? And then, is there something special going on that we need to be there? And we'll put the actual email correspondence up so you can see it. But watch what she says in this regard as far as whether I was going to be at this meeting or not.
I asked Mr. Allen if he was going to be present tonight, because if he was, I thought he and I could have a conversation about any questions he had or anything he thinks that the board should be doing differently. He told me he wasn't going to be here. Of course he is here.
Excuse me?
Your email saying, is there something I need to know about?
I said I wasn't going to be here?
Yeah, you said no. Why? Is there something I need to know about? That was your email.
There you qualify what I said.
Right, no.
I'm going to quote it.
You said no.
Because I didn't even know about it, and I
Right.
asked, is there something I need to be here for?
Right.
And obviously there was.
Listen, if you want to chat, I'm happy to do that. That's why I asked if you're going to be here and you said no. But that's beside the point. My point.
Now, if you listen to what she just said, and you read the email, the actual email correspondence, she was adamant. I told her I was not coming to that meeting.
Yeah.
Is that what I said in the email?
Yeah, but you're not supposed to reread your own emails.
Yeah, I guess not. But she told the board that. So when we put the video up, people are led to believe that I came to a meeting that I told her I wasn't coming to. And that wasn't the case at all. And we have to have that, squared away on the record so that people know what really happened during that. One of the other concerns that we discussed at the meeting was donations. Watching the video, the lawyer made a comment, "You've not seen this law before," talking to the board.
Yeah.
How does a township that has given away $93,000 not seen the law before on what they can or can't do?
Because the attorney's running things, like so many other public bodies we see. They run things, and we can tell that when they start interrupting meetings, when conversations are going on. Yeah, this is the first time you've seen.
First time you've seen the law.
First time, here's the exact quote, "The first time to look into the statutory authority for the donations." Really? You're supposed to do that before you donate any.
Right.
And in that conversation she was having, she mentioned that certain things they could donate for, like law enforcement and public safety.
Yeah, shop with the cop.
So that's what shop with the cops for. So that's law enforcement and public safety.
Well, you're not against donating to a cop, or you hate cops?
Well, that's clothing for children, and it's not law enforcement and public safety.
Well, it's not a service.
Correct.
For the township residents, which is the criteria.
It's definitely not law enforcement and public safety.
And did you know how many registered shop with the cops there are in the state of Illinois?
One?
One. There's only one. It's up in the northern suburbs of
and that was
Chicago.
one of my comments. She also said that all these organizations, one requirement is they have to be in existence for more than a year. How do you check to see if an organization is in existence for more than a year? Go to the Secretary of State's website and check.
They're not listed.
No.
No. Let's see, one of the other things, she made a comment in regards to my coming to that meeting, and one of her statements in that email that I found really interesting, and I quote, "I just wanted to be prepared if you're going to be there with your video cameras, etc." Why would you, what does it need to be prepared for? I would hope that your meeting is the same as it is no matter if somebody walks in with a camera or not, but she wanted to be prepared. That one was really interesting. What else have we got on this list here?
The stuff about who filed the electoral objections.
That was a good one.
That's ridiculous.
She kind of went on a rant about that. It was in regards to the electoral board, but that Mr. Holbrook filing all these objections. I didn't know that guy filed any objections. It was the highway commissioner that filed objections that created the electoral board. That Holbrook, Mr. Holbrook didn't have anything to do with filing objections.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
Why would she say it was Holbrook that did that? Well, after that meeting, she had said that we were only there because Holbrook asked us to be there. No, we were there because she asked me, will you be at our next township meeting? And I said, when is it? And she never responded. Instead, she says, I just wanted to, or ask if there was anything special going on, we need to be there. And she responds, not at all, blah, blah, blah. But she never told me when the meeting was. I thought that was kind of odd. Asked me if I'm going to be there, and when I asked when it is, she didn't tell me. So that's why we went, because she never told us when it was.
And then in her talk or discussion on media being here and cameras on all of you, she talks about questions from people who are not residents of the township, like that should make any difference.
We see that quite a bit. You're not from here, so you can't question us. Oh, what else was there here?
Talked about the donations. We talked about, she mentioned the word threats. And, well, first of all, the meeting minutes that they approved at our last meeting for the previous meeting are incorrect.
You and I both looked at each other
Said they did
and knew.
a motion, a second, and voted, and the motion passed to make all these donations, and then I interjected. That's not what happened. They made a motion and a second, that's when they interjected. No motion was ever passed and no vote was taken on that subject.
But that's not what the minutes say now.
Yeah.
And that video from that meeting will show what they said, and this one will show what really happened. So they're not even recording their minutes properly.
So we're gonna put both sections back to back and let you listen to it.
Okay, a motion was made by Walden, second by Kingston, to donate $2,000 each to boys baseball, girls softball, and Little League wrestling, and to donate $500 to the Festival of Lights. The motion carried. However, the Edgar County Watchdogs interjected that they felt this was subject to a lawsuit.
Junior wrestling. And those are all $2,000 requested.
Each? 2,000 each?
2,000 each.
Okay.
And also the festival lights out at the park. And that's 500. I'd like to make a motion to.
I second it.
Can I do a point of order real quick? If you don't have the statutory authority to donate the money. If you do donate it, you can.
It was interesting in regards to the donations. One of the statements that was made, and this is part of why we have to do this follow-up to the video. The lawyer said the only criteria is that it's been accounted for in your budget. which it is, and that the money is not necessary for any other expenditure at the time. Well, that's not what the law says. It's not even remotely close what the law says.
Nope.
So I'm not sure why she would tell them that, but the law actually says ordinary and necessary maintenance and operating expenses for the following, and then it lists different areas of services provided. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's needed in other areas. One thing of interest, she presented her legal opinion, and we couldn't really get anything definitive out of, communications trying to find out their statutory authority on it, so we sought out a legal opinion on that matter. And turns out, our four-page opinion that was provided to us from an attorney, because we're not attorneys, pretty much matches everything we said.
Yeah.
And then we find out this week that the board or actually the attorney and the supervisor received a letter from another attorney representing some citizens in Shelbyville, and it was a cease and desist. And basically, if you don't cease and desist because they weren't following the law, they were going to get sued. Now that would be a threat, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but she mentioned she said the word threats at least 4 times, and accusations, and talking about threats made towards the board.
I didn't hear you make a threat. I heard you make a statement and presented your opinion, and that was pretty much it, but she insisted that it was threats.
And then to show that what we first stated, that a lot of attorneys think they run the board meetings, one of these trustees asked if they could just give her the authority to
Take care.
make all the donations without board approval.
And she says, no, that's a board action, has to happen. What's interesting though, at the last meeting, they did say they're not gonna make any more donations, and we'll put up that video as well. They've acknowledged that they're gonna stop donations. So we can only assume that the 2 legal opinions they received, one from a lawyer threatening to sue them, and another one that was just a straight up legal opinion on the legality of their donations, I think they got the message that they were managing that money outside the statutory authority.
But they sent out a letter saying they're proud of it.
That's correct. That one we got just today, what was
They
that?
already threw it away.
Already threw it away. Guess that's what it was worth.
All right, well, that's it. Enjoy.